Wizard 101 just put out a new gear teaser, and this could be one of the greatest things that they've ever added into the game. Not even 24 hours ago, right? Wizard 101 tweeted out a picture of what looks like the upcoming raid gear. And the reason why people are saying that it's raid gear is basically just a caption. I mean, it seems like, you know, they're saying like, if you're up to the challenge, try it. It's gonna be difficult. Screw you. I might have paraphrased there, but basically what they're saying is there's a very big challenge coming, and this gear is related to it. And while there have been some leaks in the files that relate to why people think that the raid is based on Azteca, the gear also really, it does look like it's from Azteca. It looks like little pieces of comet and meteor from, like, you know, what happened to Azteca. It looks like they literally recycled some of the textures from literally the comets. And that's hype, y'all, because I need to know what the lore on this is. I feel like Azteca is left so open-ended. For them to tie in a whole raid to the plot of it, that's a big deal. Like, even if it's a very, like, you know, light homage to, like, you know, Azteca and the plot and everything that happened there, I still think that's such a big deal. I want to talk about a couple of things relating to the raid. One, just the fact that it looks good. I want to talk about how crazy of a step this is. I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. I feel like the fact that the last raids, the gear just looked this dookie, I don't know what they were thinking with this. Don't get me wrong, I actually think the style is unique, but one, it's not dyeable, and two, it looks like novice gear. And while I do think the whole point of the first raid was, you know, like, it's our first real challenge, like, you know, just throw yourself at it. And while that did a good job in its, you know, in its role, I feel like now that they're adding cosmetics, we have a new reason to farm for raid. I'm deadass gonna stitch some of this gear, which I'm super excited about. I hope that they add more and more cosmetic items to raids as the years go on, because yes, it's a new system, but it has so much potential to literally just be something that you farm because of something that you want to look like. Like, imagine if something as cool as like a Beast Moon robe dropped in a raid. A billion% people would farm just for that. So the fact that they're going in this direction, it's huge. Now, as far as the plot, this is what I'm extremely excited for. The last raid also did not have a plot, and to me, my theories are already going wild. The fact that the gear looks like fragmented pieces of Xibalba, it makes me think that the raid is going to be about Azteca after the comet hit. I assume that they're going to make some story about how the comet affected the world and why we're even able to access it to begin with, and it could tie a real bow on a plot that I feel like never really got the ending it deserved. I think this is something that a lot of people to this day they talk about. Azteca is the one world where the wizard most certainly loses. And while yes, the spiral door still gives us access to the world, and you know, you see it in ruins, honestly, in all reality, we messed up so badly that we shouldn't even be able to access this world or any plot associated with it after. That's how badly we messed up. Like, a comet literally destroyed this world because we were not able to get to it in time. I hope that the raid gives the wizard an opportunity for redemption. And I think that's, like, on a serious note, y'all. When I was a kid, man, and I played through Azteca and I failed, man, I don't know, man, that failure stayed with me. And I assume, you know, in some way, shape, or form, in the Wizards' head, I feel like their failure at Azteca probably stayed with them because it is a very deep thing that they did, right? Like, they literally caused the extinction of a race by not being good enough. So the raid's plot, I hope it ties that in. I hope that we, you know, basically, I hope we interact with the aftermath of when Xibalba the comet hit Azteca. And to me, it would make sense if we were to have access there. I would assume that the comet has somehow corrupted the world, and that's why we're there to begin with, right? It's probably made like all these extinct dinosaurs super powered and undead. Maybe our goal will be to finally lay them to rest, or maybe our goal will be to like literally reverse the effects of the comet. Time will tell, but there's a lot of directions they could go with this, and honestly, I think if they handle the plot right, it could just make for an extremely special experience in itself. This is why I think not having plots for any sort of side content is such a missed opportunity. Like in the first raid, like that's a missed opportunity, because what if we learned more about Dragonspire because it was a Dragonspire raid, right? That would be cool, because we do know very little about how Dragonspire actually fell in the first place. For us to now have an opportunity to figure out what's happening in Azteca, you know, getting gear that's literally, you know, themed off of it years after the world came out. The gear looks good. It's actually something you want to go after. This is W after W after W of an update if they do it right. I do think that there might be some people that feel a certain type of way about them involving the plot from Azteca inside side content like raids. And that's just because raids aren't really meant for people that, you know, go about the game casually. And I feel like the plot is by necessity a casual experience. So I don't think that they could go so overboard with the plot that they, you know, do anything that makes the wizard different from the main quest line. And yet I feel like it should still involve enough plot to actually get people to play it even just for one time, just to see what happened. That is like a weird, like, neither here nor there situation that thing they have to get right? Like, basically in this raid, we do need answers about Azteca, but nothing about those answers can change who our wizard fundamentally is, because what if a casual player doesn't play it? A very similar thing happens, like, if you don't do Wintertusk and you don't play through that side content, you never end up freeing Grandmother Raven, and yet Grandmother Raven makes appearances in the main quest line. It's like a very severe plot hole that, to my knowledge, does not have a real answer. Maybe y'all don't care about plot holes. It bothers me when they exist in a game, so I do think they need to think about that when they, you know, especially when they do stuff that calls back content from years ago. I do think there's something there that needs to be talked about. I feel like, you know, there's a potential pitfall there, and I don't think they need to fall into it. I just hope it doesn't happen. At the end of the day, I think the highlight of the raid will still be the difficulty, the nature of the fights, the uniqueness, the strategies you have to pull off in order to win. So to me, I'm that excited about this, y'all. What I will say is this: I feel like we kind of missed out on a real difficult experience once they updated the Aeon gear. And what I mean by that, right? Before the Aeon gear was updated, raids were actually hard. The Dragonspire raid was actually very difficult. When they changed Aeon gear, what ended up happening is a bunch of schools ended up with extremely high damage, even if they weren't damaged schools. And while that's fine, because, you know, you do seem to have other stats, you know, give you other sorts of identity, I do think that just gigantic damage increase that happened, it made the current raid very, very speedrunnable. All you need to do is just have a Dragoon hit, and you're basically good, because that's all you need until the very final boss. I hope that they take the opportunity to make the bosses scale to the new damage. I don't think it should be as simple as just, you know, AoEing everybody. I hope that it's a real challenge, because that will also make it feel very, very special. If you need a TLDR for this video, they're putting a lot more effort into this raid than the previous raid in terms of making it approachable. We'll see if those efforts pay off. There is still the fact that you need to be in a guild to do a raid. There is still the fact that a casual player probably won't be able to relate to the difficulty of the raid as well. But things like connecting to main plot lines and gear that people want for stats and looks, I mean, it literally doesn't get better than that. So I hope that they do it right, because this could be one of the best raids that they've ever put out if they do it right. What do you guys think about the teaser? Do you guys think that this is, like, you know, like gear that draws power from the comet that destroyed the world that we didn't save? And do you guys think that the raid is going to involve plot from Azteca and the main thing, or do you guys think it's just going to be, you know, some kind of sideshow? And most importantly, what do you guys want to see in the raid? I would love to hear all of y'all's comments. I will read all of them. I'm super excited to see what y'all think about this. As always, drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a sub if you're new, and if somebody hasn't told you you're awesome today, they doing something wrong. I'll see y'all soon. Stay awesome, y'all. And yeah.